In this episode of Sports Science, we're separating fact from fiction and putting sports myths to the test. We'll test one of the oldest myths in sports. Does sex before the game really affect athletic performance? To find out, heavyweight champ Byrd hits the bat and the sack. Some say the hardest thing to do in sports is hit a baseball. Softball superstar Jenny Finch wants to destroy that myth. Does grunting and screaming give an athlete an extra jolt of power? We're going to get concrete results. Can elite basketball players like LeBron and MJ really float above the court? We'll put the myth of hang time to the test. We're using new technology to bust old barroom debates. This is Sports Science Myths. In this former airplane hangar, we created a one-of-a-kind laboratory. A high-tech facility with one purpose: to analyze the best athletes in the world. The cutting edge of science. The limits of human performance. The science at work in the games we play. This is where sports and science collide. This is Sports Science. It's a myth as old as competition. Sex can throw off your game.
There is this myth that you have to abstain from sex before a fight.
No sex.
I truly don't believe in it.
The night before the game is going to affect how I play on Sunday.
I think that that is created, that myth, to keep fighters in line.
I guess it's in my mind already, so I'll just not take the risk.
So we want to know, does having sex before you compete really decrease your performance? Or is it just a coach's ploy to enforce athlete curfews? In no sport is the sex myth more commonly accepted than in boxing. Even Rocky Balboa's trainer said that women weaken knees. So in order to answer the question, we brought in two-time heavyweight champion Byrd.
For me, having sex before a match, it started back when I was amateur. And then even back then, I realized, well, it doesn't affect me that much. And my wife, who's with me now, she can agree with me also. She was the other part of the act.
I don't think it affects Chris at all, and I've seen that it doesn't affect him. He's always said that he thinks that it's given him a boost.
I was heavyweight champion twice, and I did it before heavyweight title fights. This is something I've always wanted to disprove. I always thought it was a myth.
Chris is going to take the kind of test none of us would have minded in high school. A sex test. Chris agreed to abstain from sex for the week leading up to our test.
Chris, thank you so much for coming in. Now, you've abstained long enough, correct?
Yes, I have. It's been hard, but I have.
So let's get to it. We're going to take your blood, run you through a whole bunch of tests, and we're going to find out once and for all.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
In order to challenge the myth, Chris will undergo a battery of tests before he has sex. To test the Rocky theory that sex weakens an athlete's legs, we measure Chris's pre-sex leg strength.
So that's your highest score, is 12:32. All right.
Chris has a pre-sex leg strength of 908 pounds of force. To test the argument that sex hurts a fighter's cardio, we put Chris on the bike.
That's your pace right there. Keep it going as hard as you can, as hard as you can.
Chris registered a peak heart rate of 180 beats per minute. To see if Chris's punching power is affected by sex, he laced the leather on a heavy bag containing impact sensors, specially designed by the U.S. Boxing Association.
Okay. Did some good hits on that one.
A pre-sex impact force from one of Chris's punches is an amazing 1,128 pounds. And finally, we test Chris's blood to measure his pre-sex testosterone level. It measures 325 nanograms per milliliter. That's right around average. If anything changes with Chris's chemistry following sex, we're going to be able to measure it. Some fellas may not kiss and tell, but science sees all.
We're gonna send you off. You and your wife, you'll go to an undisclosed location, do your thing, come back and do the same thing.
Yeah, we're going to disprove this myth. Because I know a lot of athletes think I got to abstain from having sex right before a match. I think it doesn't do anything.
Now, the fun part of the test. Chris and his wife head to the hotel to bust a myth. We'll check back later in the show to find out if the sex myth holds up. Oh, the things we'll do for science. Coming up, we've always heard that Highlight has the fastest balls in sports. Does it really? And later, the best softball pitcher of all time comes in to break myths and our equipment. All when we return with more of Sports Science Myths.